Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my first video on Rimworld. I have played Rimworld before actually, but I've just never gotten very far. And my goal with this is to kind of start playing Rimworld and figure out things as I go and get good enough that I'm able to be comfortable messing around with fun scenarios and stuff because Rimworld gives you so much freedom. Now, I do know that most Rimworld series have some kind of theme or some kind of challenge, and the challenge on this is just that I'm an idiot. We're going to do the complete normal scenario. I think that's crash landed. Yeah, crash landed, Cassandra Classic, and not an experienced player. Okay, maybe we will do Strive to Survive actually, so that it's at least somewhat of a challenge. And for now, let's do reload every time mode, I guess. I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys have probably played a lot more than I have. I don't really know what the best thing to do is. I do know a decent amount about this game, but like past getting the initial setup is where my knowledge on the game completely falls off. It feels like a game with a somewhat steep learning curve. I don't know if that's true, but that's just the impression I've gotten. It doesn't feel too intuitive. Not that it's like set up bad, but just because of how much freedom it gives you and how much things there are to do. So, looking around here, I will probably want to get some kind of place that grows all year round if I can. Growing period. Okay. So I'll come back to you guys in a second when I find a place that I think would be good. So right now I'm thinking that this is where I'm going to start off. I think it's a good spot. You guys will have to give me some tips if you can. I am not in any good relations with anyone really, but we're kind of close to these guys, which maybe could be good. I don't know how much distance matters in terms of getting like attacked, but I mean we've got a fair bit of distance between hostile places, so I don't know. I think this looks fine to me, so I'm gonna go with it. So now I need to go ahead and get some characters. I am going to just keep pressing randomize until I get something I like. So I will see you guys in a second. So these are the colonists that I think we're going to go with. Starting off, we have Julian, who is pretty well rounded aside from a few incapabilities. She can't do anything with plants, but I really don't see that mattering. I wouldn't probably want to put her on them anyways. We have people that are good with plants, and I don't know how much artistic matters. I have never touched art. Medical, that one does matter, but I think we'll be able to manage. Our medical field, is a little bit lacking, honestly, but I think we'll manage. Hopefully, we can pick up a colonist along the way eventually that's good with medical stuff, but overall, pretty well rounded and good traits here. This should help out, I think. Cobalt, this one's me, I guess. Terrible at shooting. That one is rough. And so Julian's okay. And I think Fishero is okay too. Yeah. But I am terrible at shooting. But I am expecting this to be more of the construction, mining, like setting up the base kind of person and then taking care of plants. So, you know, I think this should be good. Maybe not the most well rounded character, but I think this will help us still. And we have Fishero, who kind of helps to even out our colony, honestly. A lot of the places where we are weak, Fishero kind of helps pick up the slack because we have strong intellectual, at least some medical knowledge here, and then overall pretty well rounded with everything else. What was especially important to me was cooking because everyone else is awful at cooking, so I was happy to get this. And she is a quick sleeper, and this one's a little bit rough. She's gonna eat a lot. Um, but I guess we'll manage. I feel like every colonist that I see on here has something wrong with them that, like, I feel like at some point you just gotta settle with what you got. The other big thing to keep in mind is that we are working with two females and one male, and our male is a misogynist. So we'll see how that plays out. And in case you're curious, these names are all subscribers aside from me, obviously. So if you would like to have a colonist named after you, leave a comment in the video and I will just like randomly select someone for the next time we get a colonist. But with that, let's go ahead and start. So our colonists are right up here, and I just want to get a look at the terrain. Looking around at the terrain, I see two places that are what I would think are like good options, but I'm not sure which one's the best, honestly. So the first one is obviously like right where we just started. Looks pretty good. It's like really enclosed in, and it would be good because our stuff's already here. My one issue with this area is that I think it might be a little bit difficult. We would be open to being attacked from this side. We can obviously close this stuff off, but I'm not sure if stuff will try to get over. We can get attacked from here and here. So that's three sides that we got to be worried about. But we also have this that we could actually turn into a structure. I have no clue what this is. I'm kind of curious about that. Um, Hopefully it's not something that's bad, but I can't really tell. Um, but what we have over here is also interesting to me. I have two ideas with this. The first one would be to just throw a wall down here and then just kind of close off this area and make it its own thing. My next idea is to kind of throw walls down this left side going into the terrain a little bit and then closing it off here. So then this is like the entrance exit kind of area. What I think right now, what I'm leaning towards is kind of combining those ideas actually. So starting off in this area and then moving our development out to encapsulate this entire region. So I think that is what I'm going to go with. I'm a little bit conflicted just because this looks so nice to be able to use, but I think that's what we're going to do. I've gone ahead and equipped Fishro with a pistol. Julian has the rifle over here, and Cobalt has the knife. Cobalt is not particularly good at anything, shooting or melee, so he will likely be staying out of fights in general. So with that, they're going to pick up their supplies, and now I am going to try and set up some kind of work area over here. I've gone ahead and set up a roof area right here, as well as making it a stockpile zone so that our colonists will be slowly bringing everything over. I should probably equip this helmet onto somebody. I'm kind of conflicted on this though, because if I gave it to Cobalt, maybe he could actually go into melee fights a little bit. But overall, I think maybe it's more important to keep our shooter alive. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to Julian. So our colonists will spend the day bringing things into our temporary stockpile. We'll be sure to make something a little bit better than this in the future, but for now I just want to keep all of our supplies close to where we're working and getting it. I want to get it out of a unroofed area. We currently have Cobalt sleeping on the ground here, so I think our colonists could definitely benefit from some kind of structure. I'm not sure if there is some kind of layout that is standard for making a house. I'm sure there is some kind of optimal build, but since I'm unaware of it, I'm just going to make some kind of standard living quarters that everyone will stay in for now until we have the resources and time to make their own little places for them. So I'm thinking something like this, so it's at least spacious, since they're going to have to be together somewhat. Alright, I've made what I think will be a decent place for them. I've given them two dressers, two end tables, a table to eat at, and some kind of basic structure. I did put an extra bed in here just in case we get a new colonist, but for now, maybe that could be used as some kind of medical bed. So our colonists are getting to work on that, but I have a feeling that our wood supplies will not be enough to meet the needs for this structure. I could be wrong, but even if it does, I still think it would be a good idea to get some extra wood out of them. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a order to chop down some of the nearby trees, especially the ones that are already inside of here. We don't need those. And I'll have them cut down the plants in here as well. Well, Cobalt gets to spend the night in a bed, but Julian and Fishero will be sleeping on the floor. But I guess it's better than nothing. Oh, is this ours? Historia. That's our little Attack on Titan chinchilla here. So I guess I better give that a little place to stay. Is that a male or a female? It's a male. Okay, so he needs a place to stay. Let's see here. Where would that be? Furniture? Animal sleeping spot. I Does he belong to someone in particular? Can I see that? He's just nuzzling people. I don't know who he nuzzles the most, but it seems that Cobalt and Fishero have been nuzzled, so I will give it next to Cobalt's bed because I at least know where that bed is at. So, there we go. You can stay there, Historia. We're actually doing pretty well, I think. We've got enough beds for them to be able to sleep, and I'm feeling pretty happy with them having a nice little living quarters area now. They have somewhere to eat, they have somewhere to sleep. I wonder how they feel about this, actually. Let's see. Needs. They're in the dark, so I might need to get something in there, maybe some kind of torch. Slept in the cold. Okay, so it is cold outside. I wasn't sure. I thought it would actually be hot since it's able to grow all year long around here. So that's kind of interesting, but that's okay. We can work with that. Okay, I've laid plans for where I think our initial wall will be. So we're going to keep our little starter base within this region here, with the left side going down here to this little chunk here, and then we'll kind of finish it into this mountain over here. I think a good idea for our colony would be to take advantage of the mountain up here more so than the mountain that we have down here and to our right a little bit, because I don't believe anything could realistically attack from up here with it being so mountainous. So I'm thinking we might even dig into this mountain and prepare some kind of real stockpile for our place. So having said that, I think I want to make sure that I have the stockpile somewhat near our other things. So I want to think about what other stuff we need. We need to have some kind of farm. Before we begin worrying about the stockpile situation, I would like to get a food situation under control here. Our stockpile should be fine, it is roofed over, so for now, I actually am thinking I would like to have some kind of growing zone here. So, in this little 7x7 area, let's see here, what can we grow? Um, I'm not sure what the best plants to grow are. I am going to keep that at strawberry for now because it had a higher level, so I'm assuming it's better. I am also going to make a small patch here for heal root. I think since we have a colonist that is actually capable of growing it, having that so that we can maybe spare some medicine might be nice. So we'll have a small patch of heal root here and some strawberries here, and hopefully that should be enough to help tide our colonists over while we work on developing the rest of our base. I have decided that I am going to put a wind turbine right here. We have our farm here, but I believe the two don't conflict. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Anything I'm doing wrong, I would love to know. I'm trying to kind of learn how the game works, especially because I want to do some more creative things with it in the future. But I believe these things won't conflict with each other, so I think this is a good spot for it. And in the future, I'm looking to maybe use a steam geyser, so I would kind of like to keep it a little bit away from this area so that a steam geyser could go here without conflicting with it. So with that, we need to have our colonists cut the plants in this region as well as the trees so that it's clear. I am not sure if cutting the plants is that important. I am pretty sure that the trees are, though, so I will definitely have the trees cut down, but I will be just cutting down the plants mostly out of paranoia. I don't imagine that they would do anything since I'm going to be farming there anyways, so probably not necessary, but it's alright. So, looking over here, we actually have a colonist who is idle, which tells me that it is a good time to get them working on something, and that something will be a true stockpile zone for our colonists. I'm thinking an area like this should be good. It should be fairly protected, especially with the mountain, and it should be out of the way. I like the idea of using the space that is given to us by the mountain and the natural protection of it, so that is my goal here. So Fishero will now begin working on that, and hopefully soon we will be able to relocate everything we have here. Fishero is spending the morning mining out our stockpile, and we are now getting a notification that we need defenses. So, with that in mind, maybe we should start thinking about constructing this wall here to officially make the choke point that I was discussing earlier. So I actually went ahead and decided to put a steel wall here. I was kind of torn between using wood or steel, but I know raiders will have no objections to using fire on my walls, so I figure steel will probably be my best bet here. And I actually want to clear out the steel reserve so I don't feel too awful about wasting a little bit. And with that being said, I am now going to give the order to clear out this steel reserve right here. And this area is actually going to be where we begin our cooking operations. It's pretty close to the farm and it's close to the stockpile too, so maybe I could split this up into some kind of food zone and then regular supply zone. I'm not sure. We'll find a way, but I want to use this space as well as I can. It's not a very big area, but it's a very protected area, so I think it should be good for us if we use our space well. And now, as night is falling upon us, we have a visitor. They are from the Union of Sinelbo. I think that's how I'm going to say it at least. And it is Raccoon Shaman. I don't think they have anything to trade with us. I think I would have gotten some kind of notification. I don't remember how that works exactly, but I think they're just visiting the visit. So that's fine with me. I don't really mind. So I'll let them do their thing. Oh, just looking out here, we actually have wild heal root that we could get. So I'm not too focused on that right now because we already have our farm set up with heal root, but it is nice to know that that's out there at least. And looking outside some more, there's some steel that I actually had left behind. I think it should be fine out here. I don't think it would deteriorate, but I still think it might be a good idea to get it inside as soon as possible. Also, 4 package survival meals that I was just leaving on the ground. Again, I don't think that deteriorates, but that should probably get inside. So I'm gonna look around the map a little bit more to make sure that I didn't leave anything out here. Oh, God, speaking of which. Okay, I have a feeling I would have gotten yelled at for that one, so it's probably a good thing that I'm finding these now. I remember now that our colonists were actually complaining about the light situation in here, so I'm thinking if I can get some kind of torch, this should work. Maybe a standing lamp, actually. We do have this power now, so I guess we might as well use it. I am going to put a lamp in there and put a conduit nearby to allow them to connect. I think that might work. that looks pretty close to me. I know that the wires has some kind of reach to them. I just don't know how far it goes. So we'll see what happens when they build this if that light goes on. Okay, it doesn't seem like it was quite far enough to have that. Oh, but with just one more conduit, we have our light on, and we now have light in here. I'm really torn because if you look here, Fishero has a very ugly environment. They have a poor barrack, a mediocre barrack, so they don't enjoy their sleeping area at all, and it's actually affecting their mood quite a bit. However, my only idea for really fixing that is to put a wood floor in here, which, according to the little tooltip on the left, is very flammable. And I have a feeling our colonists would not be having a good time if their house were to catch on fire. So I'm going to try and keep the flammable materials to a minimum and maybe just hold off on the floor situation until I can get some kind of stone tile to go in there. And as our colonists work on mining out our steel, we get a mad rat who is probably not much of a threat. Let's see. They're down here. We have a door on our base. So I think, yes, it looks like he's just going to wander around. So this nice enclosed area here actually will keep us pretty safe from things like this. How is our food situation looking, though? A mad rat might not be the worst thing to eat. I don't have much of a concept of food in terms of like how long this would last, but it seems like a decent bit to me, so I'm gonna just hold off on putting our colonists in danger for now. But our stockpile is now officially done. We just need to haul out these limestone chunks. I don't really know where a good spot for them would be. We are going to want to use them at some point, so maybe somewhere just right outside the walls. I don't think they like chunks being around them, so maybe something like this could work. Okay, I've gone ahead and made it so chunks will be stored right outside of our base over here. Maybe I'll set up some kind of door so that they can get to them easier, but I wanted them to be out of the way but close enough that we could still use them in the future. So with that, I'm going to give the command to haul these chunks out of here, and we will officially start moving our stuff from out here to over here to store them safely. So, as our colonists were working on hauling our chunks out to our new stockpile zone, we actually got a notification. We are given the opportunity to name our faction, which I guess I'll just call the Cobalt Crew. And our settlement name could be the Gecko Garrison. So, with our colonists now cleaning out the remaining chunks and our colony now officially has a name, I actually think this is a good spot to leave off our episode. I feel pretty happy with where we are, actually. We have a nice setup here. There is a place for farming, a place to sleep, kind of all the essentials, and it's fairly safe, actually. I think this is a good place to be. So I think we're going to leave it off here. If you did enjoy this, like, comment, subscribe, all those things, and please let me know any suggestions you have. Um, I really appreciate all the feedback you guys always give on my videos. It really means a lot to me, and I would really like to know if you guys would like to see more from Rimworld. I know Rimworld can have a lot of freedom with it, so I think it'd be a really good fit for the channel to try out some of the more crazy kind of options that it actually gives you. But I kind of have to learn how the game works before I can do that. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts. But with that, I am going to close out the episode. See you guys.